Hello? Is this the episode you're waiting for? It's worth your while, because now we're gonna do our award show. Because this episode, we're talking movies, we're talking that. How'd you like that movie? Second annual year-end award show. There's no fucking quotes for this one, except there's not enough time in the day to watch all the indie movies that Kris most likely watched.
You know, Scott is absolutely not wrong. I did spend the majority of my holidays either going to independent cinemas before they got closed here in Ontario, or spending basically a king's ransom or queen's ransom, renting them on streaming services. So he's 100% not wrong. You might as well just put that as your soundbite because I very rarely say that. But I will follow that up with, I don't know why he's a podcaster, but I sure as fuck know why he's not a singer. Anyway, Scott, why don't you take us into the best of 2021?
All right, yeah, thanks for joining us this episode where we think we know more than the Academy.
I do. So
It's so difficult not to look smug at this point.
okay, before we start this, go back to our Academy Awards episode and who got more right.
Just because the Academy gives out awards, and by the way, this is not our Oscar show, this is just best of 2021. Just because they gave someone a fucking award doesn't mean they should have.
You love me. You really love me.
And I'm thinking more about the last round because so many people were like, oh, it's the only fucking international film I watched. Anyway, keep going, Scott.
So you're saying because I was right without watching the movie and it was your pick for 2020? Anyways, all right. So I am going to start this episode with my best actor of 2021. My nominees are Steven Yeun for Minari, Anthony Ramos for In the Heights, Nick Cage for Pig, Bradley Cooper for Nightmare Alley, and then Benedict Cumberbatch, just pick any fucking movie he did this year, or Andrew Garfield, pick any fucking movie he did this year.
Jesus, man, like you didn't get any solid fucking actors on that list as far as quality acting for this year. But go ahead. I want to hear you flesh this fucker out.
I went with, fucking Andrew Garfield for Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm just joking. It was for Tick Tick Boom.
Okay.
I think he did really good job on that one in terms of, and especially if you're going to have a biopic, might as well have a biopic of, a starving actor who is trying to make it. So when I saw it as the prequel to the Chris Langford story, and I thought he did a really good job. All he needed was the beard. But I think
so Garfield's going to play me in my biopic?
Yeah. You know how normally, you always shoot for somebody younger, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it was either him or Timothée Chalamet, but I didn't think he.
I'm going to cast Mark Wahlberg.
He's older than you, is he not?
Yeah, but he's still somehow better looking than me and in better shape. So
true enough. But yeah,
go ahead.
Like, I think he'll get nominated for the Oscar too for Tick Tick Boom. I do believe that his other movie that I saw, Mainstream, was fucking amazing too. Like his performance there as somebody who, gets on the social media circuit and becomes famous off social media and becomes an influencer, and where that like little fucking rabbit hole goes was really well. But I did enjoy the every 7 to 8 minutes musical interlude. That was Tick Tick Boom.
You do recommend, just a quick, you do recommend Tick Tick Boom? I haven't seen it yet. It looks
good.
It was really
about
good. The making of Rent. So
It's not, but sure.
Oh, it's not. Oh,
No, it's about his failed musical that he spent 7 years writing before Rent.
got you. Okay. I just
Yeah,
assumed
so-
that it ended up in him writing Rent and then he was successful.
No, like in terms of the film, like it ends with his agent telling him how his workshop didn't work for his musical that was set like in the year 3000 or something like that in the future, and that he should write something he knows.
Okay.
And then that was his motivation for that. And then kind of you see the genesis of the story of Rent through that story, because it's kind of his life story, right? But it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, like I'm fucking surprised, because that's indie all the way.
Yeah. Well, wait till you see the films that I picked, and you'll understand why I spent 2 weeks watching independent cinema. You know what I mean?
So it's a lot of international films.
It's on Netflix. I was able to just watch it. So that was like last on my list.
So you're like, I'm not going to make fun of names, but it's going to be some Asian actor's name, and you're going to be like, drive my car.
So, okay. So first off, it's funny. That's a good segue, actually. So I do need to preface all my lists with a couple things. I did not get to see Belfast. I did not get to see The Tragedy of Macbeth. Unfortunately, I had the opportunity and then I didn't go. And then here in Ontario, Canada, we have all our theaters closed to COVID. And I also was not able to watch any of the independent stuff. So I did not see Worst Person in the World. I did not see Drive My Car. The only one that I had the opportunity to watch, and I didn't get a chance to do it, is Hand of God, the Italian contribution to the Oscar shortlist. So just to preface all that, I'm going to go into my best male actor. So the nominees are Frankie Faison, The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain; Michael Greyeyes, Wild Indian; Oscar Isaac, The Card Counter; Bradley Cooper, Nightmare Alley. And
so we got one. We got one together.
You got one. You're right. You got one. And that was we'll talk about Nightmare Alley later. But obviously, if you have seen The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain, it's Frankie Faison all the way. The basic story is, this is a true story. Kenneth Chamberlain is like a 70-year-old man. His medical alert bracelet accidentally gets set off. Law enforcement is dispatched to make sure he's okay. And within like a couple hours, he's dead by police violence. So this is obviously white police officers, black individual. The camera work is amazing and stuff like that. But Frankie Faison, who he was in The Wire, he plays Barney in the Silence of the Lambs trilogy, right? So Hannibal Lecter's caretaker. He was his nurse or whatever when he's in the asylum, and then he's in the other films. He was in Mississippi Burning. In Coming to the America, the original, he plays the like landlord or whatever the of the apartment that they move into, and he's also in Do the Right Thing. So he's had a really great career, and I think that I hope he gets the credit that he's due for this film, because it's just such a transformative role, and it goes between parts of him being like totally lucid and like telling the police like, hey, like I don't want you coming into my apartment, and quoting like the Constitution and stuff. But he also has some mental health stuff going on, and so he gets disoriented. It's sad, it's tragic, but he basically owns the screen when he's on it. So yeah, like I would highly recommend watching The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain. Like I said, trigger warning for like police violence and stuff. It's heavy. It's very, very heavy. But like I said, Frankie Faison does an amazing job. And I mean, as well, like Oscar Isaac was great in The Card Counter. So was Bradley Cooper in Nightmare Alley. But definitely also check out like Wild Indian with Michael Greyeyes, who's from here. He's from one of the Indigenous nations right near Brantford, Ontario, actually. So actually, I think he's a member of Six Nations.
So in terms of your film, so I'd never even heard of that movie that you talked about, or the Wild Bill one.
It's Wild Indian.
Well, okay, sorry.
Not Wild Bill at all.
Sorry, I apologize. Now, the way you described this performance, and not to sound like a Debbie Downer, I don't think he'll win. Without even watching the performance, that just seems way too much like Anthony Hopkins in The Father, in which they're not going to do the same style.
No. He doesn't have dementia.
Didn't you just say?
Like, no, I said mental health, but yes, which that falls into that category. But in this, he's basically like hearing voices and stuff like that. But he's in
so like
real time.
schizophrenia.
Yeah, like more, not quite schizophrenic, but anyway. It's,
all right, well, pick your next fucking category because I'm right, you're wrong. Go.
Okay, so you know what? Let's stay on acting and let's go into Best Female Actor. So my nominees are Isabel Furman, The Novice, Brittany S. Hall, Test Pattern, Patty Harrison, Together Together, Taylor Page, Zola, Jessica Chastain, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Lady Gaga, The House of Gucci, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer. So this was actually really, 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 really tough. And I'm actually going to kind of like, so first off, Lady Gaga's acting performance in The House of Gucci was great. What it takes her like right out of the list technically though, is the fucking accent. Like acting fine, accent bad, but accent's part of acting. So, I mean, that's the director's fault, but that's why she doesn't get it. The Eyes of Tammy Faye though, Jessica Chastain, how do you say your last name? Is it Chastain?
I believe it's Chastain, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's got 2 Oscar nods and she was in The Help and Zero Dark 30, Interstellar, Most Violent Year, Crimson Peak. Like, she's solid. She's a solid actor. She goes from like, so first off, she almost never looks like her normal self. So right from the beginning as Tammy Faye into the like crazy big eye makeup, crazy hair, you know, prosthetics and stuff like that. She's also, Andrew Garfield's in that as well as her husband. He does a fantastic job in that. Just her ability to just like transition not only into another person, but over a period of time. And that's actually why I gave it to her over Kristen Stewart for Spencer, because although she does a pretty good job playing Lady Diana, it's a short space of time, right? So you've got her and Jessica Chastain both doing biopics, both playing other people. Obviously it's a biopic, but because Jessica Chastain has to like grow with this character, she ends up like getting over the top. But like I said, Isabel Furman in The Novice, and especially Brittany S. Hall in The Test Pattern, they're phenomenal. They just, I mean, you're competing against like Oscar nominated actors, so it's a tough sell. Anyway.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, just an aside, based on your 2 nominees for actor and actress, did you ever see that Scenes of a Marriage from Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain?
I haven't seen it yet.
That's an acting like fucking, what do you say, like workshop right there. It's a really good show, but I don't recommend watching it if you're married because it just gives you ideas. Now, okay, my nominees are, I also have Taylor Page for Zola.
Mm-hmm.
I have Emma Stone for Cruella.
Okay.
I have Zendaya for her transformative performance in her sand commercial in Dune. I'm just joking.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm joking. It's Malcolm and Marie. It's for Malcolm and Marie. And then I have Ruth Negga for Passing.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with Ruth Negga for Passing.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you didn't watch that one either.
I did watch Passing. Actually, I did, and it didn't make any of my lists.
Really?
Actually, I think I originally had it on a short list for cinematography, but then I ended up cutting it because I had to narrow down my list.
Way to give away your wild card there.
I know. But I think we all knew it was either going to be editing or cinematography. So,
but yeah, I thought her performance was really well done, right? Like having like her portrayal of the 2 lives that she was trying to uphold, and which one's technically making her happy, and then when the secrets come out and shit. And I think she's a really good actress that kind of deserves some more in terms of accolades. Now, I think this, in terms of the Academy, is going to be another Judas and the Black Messiah, where it's going to be her and Tessa Thompson. But I think they're going to put them both down for Best Supporting Actress and not the man.
Not a lead.
Yeah, instead of what they did. Yeah, the same thing what they did with Judas and Black Messiah, were both male leads were best supporting.
Yeah.
But if you haven't watched Passing, I definitely recommend it.
I definitely don't recommend watching it. I recommend watching like the last fucking 35 minutes of it. The movie from a directorial standpoint is fucking all over the place. Sorry, keep going, Scott.
Well, we know who's not going to be nominated for Best Director on your list. Remember, this one's just specific because it's not director. This is just in terms of the actor's performance.
I'm aware, but you then preface that with, or then you followed that up with like, if you haven't watched it, I recommend you watching it. And I was like, you can see all the acting and just watch the last 35 minutes of it. And the ending, you get to see the cool ending. So
I fucking hate you.
I know you do.
Fucking hate you so much. All right.
It's funny. I took this thing so seriously. I was like watching all these films. I watched some of them like more than once, like paying all this attention. And I'm like, nobody's even going to fucking care.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I never got a chance to see Spencer. I think she'll end up winning it without even watching the movie, just the buzz beforehand. But I also thought I'd have fun with it. Like, so I did the exact opposite of you, because at no point do any of these actors or people that made these movies give a shit what I think about who won the, how do you like the Hitmo.
Except some of the ones I picked are like, holy shit, we got message on a fucking podcast.
Yeah. They're like, somebody watched it. He's the one. He's
a production budget of $16,000.
The minute they got that fucking Apple rental and they're like, somebody rented your movie. And now they're like, we know who it is.
All right, what do you got? What's our next category?
I'm gonna go with my wild card because you already gave away yours. So I went totally different. So I'm bringing back the old school, like Blockbuster Awards or the MTV. It's my popcorn movie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Best Cinematic Kiss or something like that.
No, it'll be me. Like once I have one, I'm all over that. But yeah, I went with my favorite popcorn movie of the year.
Oh fuck! Here we go.
So
this should be interesting. Let's hear it.
The nominees are
Kris hates
Red Notice. Fuck you. Red Notice. Ghostbusters Afterlife. Spider-Man No Way Home. The Suicide Squad. And Godzilla versus Kong.
Wait, which Suicide Squad? Oh, it's the Suicide Squad instead of just Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because why would I pick a movie from 4 years ago?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, so can I guess which two I think it might be?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think it's either going to be Spider-Man or Ghostbusters.
You're wrong.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
The winner is Godzilla versus Kong. Because there's nothing more fucking popcorn than a fucking giant lizard punching a giant fucking ape for 90 fucking minutes straight. And then having
pound for pound, this movie goes round and round.
And then having the cliche fucking comic book like hero team up where they fight at the beginning and then they have to team up to take down the real bad guy.
I kind of, you sold me on that movie. I feel like I want to like watch this fucking movie now, man. Get jacked up on a bunch of ephedrine and like.
Are you serious? You didn't watch fucking Godzilla versus Kong?
I think it was like it had the early release. You could have watched it at home, and I'm like, I'm not paying $30 to watch that fucking movie. And then I forgot about it because I find on the streaming services too, like once they're not featured anymore, they just like drop into like oblivion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it is on Crave if you want to watch it.
Oh fuck, 100%, man.
But yeah, there's literally nothing more fun and popcorn than a fucking giant ape having a magic axe and just like chopping down shit. Oh yeah.
Are you? Fuck. Okay, what are you? Team Godzilla? Or are you Team Kong?
I was Team Kong.
Nice.
All right, but yeah, I definitely cannot believe you didn't watch it, and and you're like, I totally believe you did.
Oh yeah, I've no doubt.
But yeah, go ahead with yours. Bore me on cinematography.
A bunch of films that you have not heard of. So my award for cinematography, the nominees are Blue Bayou, The Humans, Nightmare Alley, Passing, Zola, and The Novice. This was another really tough one that I'm going to kind of flesh out a bit. So Nightmare Alley has beautiful cinematography. And the one that I'm going to make my winner is much more arty cinematography. I mean, Nightmare Alley has a $60 million budget. So there's just some stuff you can get away with. And I'm like,
yeah,
I can't
but
just,
like
hold
50
on.
million of it is just the actors in that movie.
I almost feel like with Del Toro, like he's the guy that's like, I'm just gonna pay you union scale to be in my movie. It's sort of like Wes Anderson. There's no way Wes Anderson pays all those fucking guys their like normal A-list rate. He's like, I'm gonna give you like a monkey in a box and a banana or some crazy fucking gift, and they're like, yeah, fuck it, man, put me in your movie. Ensemble cast of 30 people. You know what I mean?
Did you watch did you watch The French Dispatch?
Not yet. It just came.
Okay, so
like a reasonable
like
price.
this thing, your list 100% makes sense to me.
Oh, because I haven't seen The French Dispatch yet?
Yeah.
Wait till I tell you actually who won.
Because I was wondering about Timothée Chalamet for actor. I'm like, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
Man. Fuck him. him and Jesse Pinkman or whatever, Plowman or whatever the fuck his last name, are two of the most like overrated fucking actors in Hollywood right now. So Nightmare Alley, I just was like, no, man, I want to go with some more arty cinematography. Soul is so good and the editing is so good, and I really wanted either it or The Novice. If you have not seen The Novice, you have to go watch this. It's nominated for tons of Independent Spirit Awards. It's nominated for Gotham Awards. It's fucking intense. And it just, unfortunately, in a lot of categories, it just happens to be like really close to the top, but not quite the top. Passing the cinematography was good. But my winner, and Blue Bayou is like super, super beautiful as well. Crazy story. Actually, you would really like the movie Blue Bayou. Because
did you say super British? Is that what you were gonna say?
Super beautiful and pretty.
Okay.
You should definitely go watch Blue Bayou because it's all about like a family and a dude maybe getting deported, and he's got like adopted kid, and it's all family shit. You'll love it. You'll cry like a baby. It'll be fantastic. It also looks really nice. Okay, but my winner is The Humans by director of photography Lowell Crawley, who has 2 Independent Spirit Award nominations. He did Ballast, he did The Devil All the Time, and 45 Years. So this has like Amy Schumer and a bunch of other people in it. It's not a comedy. It's taken from a stage play, but the cinematography is just, I actually was like talking to my cinematographer that I'm working with on my next film. We're also shooting another film next Friday that Scott is going to be in. And I just said, hey, listen, if you want to see a masterclass in cinematography, watch this film. It's got.
I thought you were going to say a masterclass of acting. Just watch me.
Yeah. No. There's a reason why I've moved behind the camera. I'm just better behind there. But it does all kinds of crazy stuff. Like obviously your standard, like blocking of a character in different frames, like, and not, I mean like a frame, like a door frame and stuff like that. The use of lighting, the use of like surreal cinematography. It's just such a beautiful film. It's a bit slow as a film, but if you just want something for like pure aesthetic, and again, like if you're wanting to be a cinematographer, watch this film. Like you will learn so much just about placement and lighting, and even like camera movement and the way it moves around a table while you have like ensemble dialogue. It was real, and it was a tough go. Like I said, all of these films have great cinematography, and I had to give it to The Humans because it was just by far the best.
Now, just to confirm, the title is Humans, like HUMANS.
The Humans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, check it out, man. Like I said, it's a bit slow, but it's well done. It's just a very arty kind of offbeat film, but the cinematography is like insanely beautiful. Like the lighting composition and scenes is like I said, masterclass level.
All right, go. Your next category.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna do Best Director.
Chris Langford.
Yes.
Heartache.
Hey, I actually won Best Director for Heartache. What are you talking about?
Was it Best Director? Or...
I won Best Director. I actually won Best Director. If you go on our IMDb, you can see which film festival I won that for. It was probably like favorite son of the month or something like that. Okay, so my nominees for Best Director are Zeneca Bravo for Zola, Maggie Gyllenhaal, The Lost Daughter, Lauren Hadaway, The Novice, Emma Singleman, Shiva Baby, Shatantra Michelle Ford for Test Pattern, and Guillermo del Toro for Nightmare Alley. And this is where I had to...
Before you continue, you put Maggie Lost Daughter.
Yeah.
Were you not just on our Twitter feed like bashing this fucking movie?
Can I finish? It was on my
list
because it stayed on. So it got on my list because it had got a bunch of awards. Then I watched it and I didn't take it off the list because I'm gonna complain about it right now.
Oh, okay.
So
go ahead.
Okay, so first off, obviously Zola's great. Watch that film. Novice, great. Watch that film. If you have Crave, watch Shiva Baby. The film was made for roughly $200,000. It's basically a play on Sugar Baby, and it takes place as like a sugar baby finishes up with her partner that she's paying her to have sex with, goes to a Shiva to sit Shiva as because she's Jewish, and this fucking dude shows up because he knows like her dad and shit. So she's like banging this older dude that shows up basically at a Jewish funeral, and then like just that interaction. It's super funny. It's like the best of like low budget indie cinema. I highly recommend it. It's like 80 minutes long or something too, so it's in the sweet spot. I haven't talked much about Test Pattern. Again, it was another one of these films that was like really, really, really close. It's up for a bunch of Indie Spirit Awards. It's an intense film, you know, trigger warnings, sexual violence, but it actually has like one of the like coolest sexy sex scenes that is also not like gratuitous. And it's the story basically of a woman and her partner, and things are really great, and then she goes out for like drinks with her girlfriend and gets like fucking date raped, and just like the fallout and just like how things start to unwind. It's, and again, the fact that it's like a female director, I think that subject matter is in really, really good hands. So although it's not winning my best director, because again, you're up against Guillermo del Toro and fucking Nightmare Alley, and I definitely want to talk about that in a second. But definitely watch Test Pattern. Definitely watch The Novice. Lauren Hadaway. This is her directorial debut, and she makes this fucking stunning film. But the caveat there is she's been in the film industry forever. She's like a sound editor, and so she was like the sound editor on Whiplash and a bunch of other like super, super, super cool films that like won Oscars and stuff. So she's been around in the industry a long time, but did a great job directing The Novice. And some of it was shot in Northern Ontario at one of the like colleges up there. The Lost Daughter. I'm just gonna fucking eviscerate this for a bit. So there are three highly overrated fucking films that are coming out that came out in 2021. The Lost Daughter, the Licorice Pizza, The Lost Daughter, and The Power of the Dog. All of those are fucking super overrated. They're poorly directed. They're a fucking mess. They have some interesting parts in some of them, whether it's cinematics or acting, but they're getting way too much praise that they don't fucking deserve.
So how does something that's poorly directed make your list?
I told you, because it was on my list, and then I watched it, and then I'm like, I don't want to take it off because I want to talk about how fucking bad it is. If this film didn't have Olivia Colman in it, but more importantly, wasn't directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, we wouldn't even be fucking talking about it. It's fucking awful. Yeah, so Guillermo del Toro, Nightmare Alley. Unbelievable fucking noir film. I got to see this in the theater before the theaters closed. So happy. I mean, everybody in it is amazing. Cate Blanchett, fucking Bradley Cooper, William Dafoe. It's dark. It's fucking super gritty. It's crazy violent. It's perfectly composed. There is absolutely nothing wrong with this fucking film. And he shows, and there's no supernatural shit. So he shows that like, he's just a really fantastic director. Highly recommend Nightmare Alley.
Oh, way to spoil that movie for everybody, since all the trailers show fucking supernatural shit. But sure. All right. So, my aside.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna bash. I'm not gonna pick a list of movies just to bash them and then be like, obviously, this guy is the best guy. Okay, here's my list. Edgar Wright for Last Night in Soho.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to explain it. You can just listen to our Last Night in Soho episode. See?
I see what you did there.
Jane Champion for The Power of the Dog. I don't need to explain it because you can just listen to our fucking episode. Right? Like I said from the beginning, it could be like super dry, super long, but it was well directed. I'm gonna go with Lin-Manuel for Tick Tick Boom for a first time director of a feature film. He did a good job, but I think his whole background kind of like sets him up for it. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be hearing a lot more from Lin-Manuel.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be not in a musical genre. I think he's going to start doing some
like a slasher or something.
It doesn't have to fucking be a slasher.
Slasher.
Well, in terms of my next candidate is Nia DaCosta for Candyman. I think that film is not getting, like, in terms of hype and talking about awards, that film is like, no one's talking about it, and I think they should be. Like,
it definitely had good cinematography.
Yeah, we discussed it. We both enjoyed the shit out of it, right? So I'm super surprised that movie was not on your list, because then you could have been like the indie between the indie. So I just got like even more indie cred than you do.
You don't get more indie cred by having a fucking like multi-million-dollar film as like one of your picks. It wasn't
a multi-million-dollar film just because it was super popular and people like loved it.
Yeah. The fact that you knew about it means it wasn't indie enough.
Fuck you. Next one is going to be Guillermo del Toro for Nightmare Alley. I'm not going to say much because, Kris, I just saw him unzip his pants a little bit, so we don't need to go on there. And if you don't believe me, check our YouTube video and you can see his right hand kind of slide down. But my winner is going to be fucking Nia DaCosta for Candyman. I think she was the best director this year, and go fucking watch Candyman because that movie was amazing. And the shit she did with the mirror stuff, like that's what gets me, man. The cinematography they did and the edits they did with the mirror is 100%.
There's a man in the mirror and he's Candyman. So did you know Nightmare Alley was actually primarily shot in Toronto? Except for a little bit that's shot in Buffalo.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But just because it was fucking filmed in Toronto doesn't mean that he gets best fucking director.
I mean, he loves Canada, man. One of his favorite places is Hamilton of all places.
Like, I'm gonna say something that's super redundant. Mm-hmm. Show me one fucking movie, and I'm pretty sure we can go through this whole list of movies that does not have either that Ontario credit thing at the end of the trailer or the Quebec fucking credit, because that's all I fucking see. And I'm like, where the fuck do all these movies film in Ontario? It's like one scene, like, can we get $1 million credit? Yes,
so this is it. I guess we're at the big money, the money shot, as they call it. They don't call it that, but we'll call it here. Let's see your money shot. All
right. So do you want to do for this one? Do you want to do, I'll say my list, you say your list, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, we'll pick which one's the best one? Not like you say yours.
Oh, no, that's fucking sounds stupid. It sounds like we're just gonna jump on top of each other, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, just later when we're off the
yeah, man. Yo, you gotta pay for our OnlyFans to get the spicy content. You know what I mean?
That's spicy. So that's how you like that porn. I liked it very much. I made it 5 minutes.
I win.
All right.
Yeah, take it away.
All right. So for my favorite film of 2021, my nominees were In the Heights, Tick Tick Boom, so double Lin-Manuel, Cruella, Candyman, and Nightmare Alley. My winner, it's going to go with the director, is Candyman. And the reason why it's not going to be Nightmare Alley is because...
You didn't understand it.
No, just because it was that movie, 30 minutes in, I already knew where the destination was. So I enjoyed the journey, but the fact that...
I guess because you don't know everything in Candyman right away.
Exactly. You don't.
Okay. All right.
You don't know Candyman. And yeah, like everything they did well. In terms of Nightmare Alley, yeah, 30 minutes in, you know where it's going to end. So I already knew where it's going, but I did enjoy the journey getting there. It was fun, so it didn't deter it from me.
But don't stop believing because you enjoyed the journey.
And I do think Kate Blanchett will win for Best Supporting Actress, because she wasn't the main. It would be Runa. So I think she's going to get Best Supporting. And I think Gilmore, I don't know if he's going to get director.
He'll get a nomination. We're talking Oscars, right?
Yeah. He'll get a nomination, but I don't think he'll get the Oscar because I don't think they're going to go back to back with the last film he did and then this film going, because I think they only leave that for Spielberg.
He didn't win the Oscar last year for Best Picture.
No, but his last film, which was Shape of Water.
Oh, what you mean is like you don't get to like just keep making movies and get Oscars.
Yeah. They're not going to be like, oh, you just, the last movie you made 3 years ago won it. Now you made another movie 3 years later, you're going to get it again. They only saved that for Spielberg. So I'm calling it now. Spielberg's winning Best Director.
Okay. What? For fucking West Side Story? For West Side Story?
I'm willing to put money on it. He's going to win.
West Side Story is fucking awful. It is awful. Anyway.
I didn't watch it.
It's so long. I fell asleep like 3 times. So maybe I missed the good stuff.
So wait a minute. So a musical that literally I haven't even watched it, but I'm gonna assume in every 3 minutes you're getting blasted with music and dance. You fell asleep in, but a movie that you said is super long and boring, you're like, Best Cinematography. It's fucking amazing. You gotta watch this. It's super long and boring, but you gotta watch this. It didn't put me to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, West Side Story, I guess I thought I liked the music to West Side Story more, and I don't. And it had a very Disney feel to it. But anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. So
Candyman, eh? That's your big one. Do you think Candyman is going to get any love?
No.
Going forward, this is it.
No.
It's only getting your love.
It's only getting my love. So Jordan Peele, Nia DaCosta, what's up?
Get some Scott.
But yeah, I think it is a travesty because not very many genre films, and especially like horror, get nominated for any of the awards. There's only one horror.
I don't know, man. I think it might get a cinematography nomination.
I don't know. Yeah, I might get like costume design, like production, like that stuff. But I'm talking about like big.
Oh, like the awards that don't matter. The ones that are like down. You got to scroll down to the award.
They're gonna get the awards that they showed like the 5-minute recap, like another day this random actor hosted this and here's all the people that won.
While we were at commercial break, the following awards were handed out and it just goes like
they're like, oh, Candyman.
And the award for best key grip goes to
yeah, and that's the thing that I think is kind of sad about it, like especially in terms of horror, especially there is a shit ton of good horror movies that do get made, like Saint Maud. Like I'm surprised.
That movie's fucked. It's so good though, but it was fucked.
I'm like, nobody's talking about that movie, right?
Also beautifully shot, like really great shot composition.
And that's the thing. The only slasher movie that I know of that was nominated was Silence of the Lambs, but they hit it so well that you don't think of it as a slasher, right? You just think of it as like a suspense thriller.
Well, is it a slasher? Like really?
It's literally reversed your instead of following the killer, You just see the after effects of the killer.
Yeah,
But
fair
it's
enough.
literally him just going after chicks and killing them, and then he has the final girl.
So on this topic, before I do mine, so do you like body horror?
I did not watch that one about the chick
Chastain?
that fuck. Yeah, the chick
It's
that fucked
so
the car.
crazy. And I forgot it was body horror. And then I started watching it and I'm like, fuck, this is body horror. This is super weird. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
it's got she does a great job acting and there's some really cool, interesting shots, but it's fucked. I think I described it as Cronenberg meets Lynch, but not in a good way.
All right, let me hear yours.
Okay. So the nominees for Best Film of 2021 are Coda, Licorice Pizza, Test Pattern, The Novice, Zola, and Nightmare Alley. What are you laughing about?
You literally said there's 3 fucking overhyped movies, and Licorice Pizza was one of them, and it's on your list.
Yes.
Like, how does it make your fucking list if you literally just bashed it 10 minutes ago?
So again, like The Lost Daughter, it went on my list before I got the chance to see it. And then I kept it on there to make
So
sure.
how is it on
complained
your
about it.
list if you didn't watch it? There's a reason why fucking Cruella is on my list, because I fucking watched it.
Because I knew I was going to watch it. I went to the theater to watch Paul Thomas Anderson's latest fucking masterpiece. This is like Boogie Nights. This is There Will Be Blood. This is like fucking The Phantom Thread. This is the guy. This is the master. Literally, he did the master. I fucking watched this film and I go, did I just watch Paul Thomas Anderson do a early Wes Anderson film? Like it was like a cross between like Rushmore and Bottle Rockets and the Royal Tannenbaums, but not really executed very well. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, if you watch Licorice Pizza, you would think this is some director's like first or second feature film, and you're like, okay, I get it, man. It needs to be like edited a bit. I get it. Not a guy that's got like multiple fucking accolades for probably some of the best cinematic pictures, and going, really, this is the film you're doing now. And again, that's cool. Take some risks, do your thing. But people need to be able to look at this fucking thing with a critical eye and go, yeah, you didn't do good. I mean, people had no problem bashing fucking Ridley Scott for fucking House of Gucci, as they should. And then he fucking brought it back.
I'm surprised.
Like
Last Duel didn't
Last
make
Duel was
any of
GOAT.
your list. Yeah, but you didn't. How the fuck is it GOAT and it didn't make any one of your lists?
It's good, but it's not. It's not the best.
But the
It's
movie
good.
you didn't see, but went with the hype and then hated, made your list.
Yeah, man, because I wanted to make sure I talked about it.
Can I ask you a quick question? Because I don't know before you answer. Are the two Andersons like brothers?
I don't
Like,
know.
are they
I was
related?
wondering. Like, it's weird. Like, I was like,
Because maybe
Wes
that's
Anderson,
why
Wes
he
Anderson?
did it. Like,
It's
maybe
an homage to his brother, or
Yeah, maybe,
it's an homage to his brother from another mother.
or maybe they are brothers, and then like one family outing during COVID, the mom's like, I really like all your movies, but fucking Bottle Rocket and Rushmore are my favorites. And then this guy's like, motherfucker, I will outdo that motherfucker.
I will out Wes Anderson by being Paul Thomas Anderson, Mr. Anderson.
You're like, on your fucking grave, mom, you're gonna be like, my favorite fucking movie is Licorice Pizza. That's how good this movie is.
Another film that you should watch if you haven't seen it, everybody should watch it, but definitely Scott, because it goes into his whole family values bullshit. Because that's who wants family values, is Coda, which stands for Child of Deaf Adult, and it's amazing.
That's the Apple TV one,
Yeah,
right?
it's good, right?
Yeah, she's a singer. Yeah, I did watch it.
It's so good. I mean, the only problem I had with it, and this is why it didn't score higher on my list, is the love interaction between her and the boyfriend or whatever felt a bit Hallmark moment for me, and I'm like, everything else was great, but obviously, or not obviously, I'm going with Nightmare Alley, man. Del Toro, fucking killing it. It's the best film of the year. Again, I haven't seen Belfast, and I haven't seen The Tragedy of Macbeth, which looks fucking phenomenal, like German Impressionism.
What about King Richard?
No, not best at all. And Will Smith can go cry that he doesn't get a fucking nomination. He does not deserve a nomination. He fucking overacted it. He was the least capable actor in that fucking movie.
All right.
Yeah.
What about Come On, Come On?
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm just going with all the other movies that people are hyping. I figured that they'd be on your list too. I
was gonna watch Come On. I just didn't get to it, and I was like, I had seen a bunch of really great films already, so
until you watch The French Dispatch, and you're like, oh, that one's the best. That one, everybody's on that guy.
Did you watch Together?
No.
It's on Crave. It's funny. I mean, the main character is a bit problematic, and I'm sure anybody who's seen it will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, that's it for me. Another 2021 in the bag.
Another like the only
another 20. 20 yeah. I mean, with COVID, 20. It feels like it's all 2020 all over again, right? So it never went away. We're literally, the years are now 3 years long, right? So
no, it's been like 2 years since we've been in the same room together.
And that's why we're managing to still be friends, because we always had to have like time apart because it was too crazy. So anyway, that's all for me. Unless you got anything else, Scott, we'll take us out.
No. Again, sorry for the delay and skipping the episode, but shit happened, and I'm super happy with this one because everybody on the Twitter feed is going to agree that I have better taste than you.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
So Kris is basically the Twitter of How'd You Like That Movie?
Yeah, because you're like fucking bashing everybody, and I'm like, holy, like, I'm like in my head when I see this shit, I'm like, does he not realize that technically I am attached to everything he's saying out of that Twitter? When he's like, you fucking, like, what are you talking about? Like, do you even know? Do you even watch a fucking movie? And I'm like, my name's attached to this. I'm like, I haven't watched this fucking movie. Well, how am I gonna respond to it?
Hey man, but our Twitter's doing like way better than it used to now because I finally have been using it. So, production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.